Moving on to the Rockhopper. Now, I do apologize that these next few ones in design are not as cool or clever as some of the other ones, but my next two pages are full of some kick-ass cool-looking aliens, and then that'll be it for the alien animals that I've created. Then I'll be moving on to the plants, and then the environments that I drew them all in to interact with. So stay tuned for those. But I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about the last little bits of my alien creatures for the alien planet that I created a couple years ago. All right, so this one is called the Rockhopper. I don't really know what type of animal I was thinking of. Maybe a mole, or again another small mammal type of a thing. 3 legs again. It's got little suction things on its feet, so it can stick to the ground a little easier, and maybe pick up food along the way with it. No appendages though, like no fingertip things. And this one, it can move by walking, but when it walks, as you can see how short the little legs are, it would take quite a while to walk all the way across, like your backyard, for example. But since it's a rock hopper, it can curl up its little feet like that. Or, I show it like this, so it can, curls up its little feet, and boop, it can hop and go like this, and then hop again, and hop again, hop again. It gets a good dismount with its 6 legs total, trying to leap off, so there you go. And then, I drew it from above, from the sky view, too. It's a rock, of course, from the back view, but that makes it very hard for predators to know if it's an animal or not, because it looks like a normal rock, so they don't think that it's an animal, and it's very little. So I would say it's the size, it's bigger than your hand, but maybe the size of like a ferret. Like a big ferret is kind of the size that I'm thinking of for this little guy. And no fur, just kind of like a mole rat. And that is the Rockhopper. Just kind of hops. And I mean, I guess if a animal were to have its head right here where it hops, it would kind of hurt. But it's not like the rocket slug where it can actually do damage. It's a little guy here. There's no hard, nothing hard on him. He's a soft little cutie pie. This would be another good pet to have if you were to live on this alien planet. And then the Tricelephant was one of my earlier designs also, but also based off of a different alien creature that I drew at the bottom of this, which I'll show in a sec. And this is supposed to be like a mini elephant in a way, but it's not an elephant. It's just a elephant-like small creature, and its tail has 3 arrows on it for attacking predators, of course, and people that try to mess with it. It can stab it and shank it. And its trunk is not used like an elephant because its mouth is not over here. Its mouth is in the trunk. So as it's eating, it's, getting the sustenance anyway. And it's a cute little guy. It's non-carnivorous. It is harmless. This wouldn't be ideal because it has the sharp tails, but if you were to dull out the tails or something, then yeah, this would be a nice little pet to have if you were on this alien world. Alright, now we've got the badass plant crusher rat. Now this little thing is supposed to basically, again, be... This one's not the size of a rat. This one's more like the size of an opossum, and it's got a huge hammer on its back. This is supposed to be the shape of a hammer. I wasn't really sure how to draw a hammer that also looked like it's attached to an animal, so this was as best as I can do. And this hammer right here is good for crushing plants so that it can eat the plants. Sometimes the good juicy parts of the plants are up here and this little mouth can't reach, so this will try to crush the plant down, kind of knock it down, and make it so it can eat it up. If it can't fit whatever's in here, like a huge leaf, then this will crush it down, and then it can nibble on it gracefully and happily and be on its merry way. It can also kind of be used as a weapon, but it doesn't eat any meat, so it wouldn't do it for that purpose. But if like a littler animal was somehow trying to attack it stupidly, then it could crush it. Or if an insect's in its way, and if it wanted for fun, it can crush it. But, it's an alien animal, so who knows what it would do. And this is the Trihornodon, which is one of my least favorite creations that I did. I made it, the Tricelephant up here to kind of make it look kind of cooler, make it look a little more normal. This one is just, it's got some horns on its back and tail and head, and that's all it pretty much is. There's nothing to it. It's a little dog thing with a weird mouth. I really dislike this one. I guess it can kind of shank someone over here too, but I feel like the sharp edges on the tails and mouths and heads are getting a little too common with my drawings, so I don't really like this one. This is the lower tier. And I'm going to go over to the next one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the hover dial. This is supposed to be like a flying alligator, technically. This is a water creature, land creature, and an air creature. Yes, I wasn't sure how to draw the actual bag that actually it uses to fly or glide up, I suppose, hover. But I don't know. I picture it kind of dragging along the floor. I mean, there shouldn't be anything too sharp to run along with it, so it should be just fine. It's a little four-legged one and little pinchers on its thing. Hi, Chica. Thank you for joining me. And it's got, a beak shape, so it's kind of like a bird, but it's kind of like a fish. It can kind of do damage anywhere. It can eat plants, fish, other birds, other animals. Its prey is actually quite vast. It's not too violent. It's not like an actual crocodile. This one would actually be an interesting pet, but it is sharp and could bite you. Chica is joining us right now, and I'm going to boot her to leave in a second, but I have to give her a little bit of loves, as she is very lovey right now. Hi, Chica. Thank you for helping. Yep. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. All right. If there's really not too much else to say about it right there. It's got a little fin on its back and its beak and its gas thing for hovering around. I think it projects its own hover thing to fill it up. I don't know how else it would fly. But it can only do it for a little bit of time. Be in the air for like 10 minutes. Nothing too bad. Alright, I gotta give my kitty some loves before I finish this. Alright, the kitty's all taken care of. She was very playful for a little bit. Now we move on to the Drain Toad. This one was one of my favorites to draw, honestly. I was kind of thinking of that Politoed from Pokemon. I think that was the green one. The different evolution from Poliwhirl, or Poliwag, I don't remember. And I was thinking, okay, let's make a frog-type creature. I was thinking, water-based. How can I make this guy, with what I already drew? I drew quite a few different types of aliens by now. How can this guy interact in the environment? Well, I was thinking, if there's an animal that killed something in the trees, sometimes, maybe blood or food or, little pieces drop off, and this guy likes to collect it. Collect the blood, if you will, and it can easily get a drink from the rain or from, off of leaves, off of its mouth. This is its mouth. This looks like a mouth, but it really isn't its actual mouth where it is for feeding. This is for biting, yes, but it doesn't get sustenance from anything on the ground. This is all this is all aerial based. It doesn't seem that practical because things need to fall onto it, but it does well enough, and this is what it looks like when it's not trying to feed. Oh wait, oh no, never mind. No, yeah, it does. Okay, now I remember now. Seeing this, looking at this side, yeah, when it closes its mouth like that, it can eat out of here. Like, if this is wide open, that stays closed. I remember now. When that's closed, this is open sometimes, and it can eat through here and everything. It was like something about vowels. Like, you close one door, open another, but both can't be open at the same time, or it just doesn't work. I think that's what I was thinking of back then. So, it can kind of pick and choose what it wants to do. And it gets most of its drink from up here, and its actual food from down here. Okay, that makes more sense. So this guy can still eat small game, small fish, small rats, whatever. And, yeah, that's good. Now the Pincer Sucker. Now the Pincer Sucker was heavily inspired from the dagger wrist alien creature from the movie Alien Planet, and it basically, that one had little wrists shaped like daggers that go into the trees and, poke holes in it basically, and this is kind of similar, but I tried to make the design very different and make it seem not as carnivorous and deadly. It is carnivorous, it can kill other creatures on the tree, kind of like that one horn thing I showed you earlier that latches onto the tree, and the wood specker, I think is what that one was called. This little guy can kill that thing and eat it pretty nicely. And Yeah, digs its claws in and gets the sap out of the tree just as well. Like, as for this being carnivorous, it would poke a hole and just kind of suck out the fluids of the victim. It can't chew through it, like through the actual meat and bones, but it can get the fluid parts out nice and easy, nice and clean. And then we've got another one of my favorites, honestly, the stealth slug. Now, this little guy is, he kind of lays on the ground. And this little guy kind of lays on the ground and just waits for something to get on it. Like, it could be a little squat, it could be a little squoof, could be a little one of those arrow rat things. It could be some of my other creatures that I had. Just go on it, and then boom, it curls kind of like a fly trap or like a snake when it gets its coil. But when this dude coils up, oh, you are so screwed. If all its little horns somehow don't poke enough holes in you to kill you, this big little horn right here will definitely do the trick. And its eyeball is literally all on its front. It can see all around, kind of like a fly. In a way, its vision is like a fly, and its mouth is all these little holes. There's a bunch of little mouths across the belly as well, kind of like with the first one that I showed you, the Slug. It's a little similar to it. But this one is, more dangerous and more of a hunter. This one just uses its camo. I tried to make it look as cool as I can as far as, camouflage would go. So its underbelly would be green to blend in with the grass, and then the overhead would be, brown to blend in with the dirt. So it's pretty camo based and pretty hard to know to get. Not that many animals on this planet can kill this thing because they don't usually know where the hell it is. And whenever they do, it's usually too late and then they are fucked. Now, these things can be from the size of, maybe 3 feet long is probably the average size. But the bigger ones, they can be, over 10 feet. Which those fuckers can pretty much kill you. Like any bigger game, like a small dog, they can kill all these animals on the thing right here. This little guy could kill all of them if they were in its grasp. So I got one more page of aliens to show, and then I'll go into the plants if I have time. I've been doing videos all morning, and I am freaking exhausted by now, and my mouth is getting pretty damn dry.